of all the people here, of all the speakers that we've got, they chose me to talk about children. Well, actually, I like kids. I like kids a lot. I work in a lot of programs with the youth and the children all throughout the world, especially in my country, in the United States. And I'm going to tell you a little secret if you promise not to tell anybody. Promise? Okay. The reason I like to work with the children, the reason I get along with the little kids so much is because I used to be one. Well, the instruction that Allah gives in the Qur'an for our youth, and I cannot think of anything more appropriate or more beneficial for us to use than the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I realize that most of my audience around the world, actually they don't know the Arabic language. And that's sad, because if you did, you could appreciate this even more in the Laghut Arabiya. However, what we endeavored to do is to try to bring about the best translation for you that we could. And also the easiest place to find it for you at the same time. When you've got children at home and you're trying to work with them, the last thing you think about is to go to the Qur'an, because you're trying to figure out to stop them from doing this and don't do that and don't do this and something else, and oh my God, look what they're doing now. So I wanted to make it easy for you to go to the Qur'an to find some answers. Now there's a number. This number, for non-Muslims that are superstitious, they're afraid of this number. In fact, when they build a big building, a tall building, they used to stop on the 12th floor and not build it any bigger than that. And then later, when they built buildings bigger than that, taller than that, they would mark it so you're in the elevator, you're on the 12th floor, and then you're on the 14th floor. But know what? What's the number they didn't put? Right. They're afraid of this number 13. And they talk about Friday the 13th. We're Muslims. We don't worry about numbers. And we don't worry about superstitions. The only thing we worry about is Allah happy with me. So forget about the superstition, but remember the number. And turn it backwards and say 31 and then say 13. 31, 13. Because 31, if you go by the numbers, is Surah Luqman. I know you can't see it from there, but that's what it is. Okay? Chapter 31 is Surah Luqman, and verse number 13 is the one to go to, because there's some really good advice. The advice actually starts in verse 12, talking about Luqman, and it goes all the way to verse 19. Bear with me now while I try to give you a decent translation of the meaning, and think how you can use this for your own children. It says in translation, and for sure Allah bestowed on Luqman the hikmah. Now hikmah means wisdom or religious knowledge, saying, give thanks to Allah, and whoever gives thanks, he gives thanks for his own good, and whoever's not thankful, for sure Allah is Al-Ghani. He is free from any need, worthy of all praise. And remember when Luqman said to his son, when he was giving him advice, now this is Allah teaching you and me how to give advice to the kids. Luqman is saying to his son, Ya Ibni, O my son, don't make partners in worship with Allah. For sure, making partners with Allah, it's called shirk in Arabic. For sure, making shirk with Allah is great dhulm. Big wrong, the worst thing indeed. And Allah has enjoined on human beings to be good to their parents. His mother bears him in weakness upon hardship and weakness upon hardship, and his weaning is for 2 years. Give thanks to Allah and give thanks to your parents. And unto Allah is your final destination. But if your parents try to make you worship something other than Allah, something of which you have no knowledge, don't